The massive silhouette of Helios 7 loomed against the backdrop of endless stars, its skeletal structure casting long shadows in the pale light of the distant sun. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the restoration vessel Nightingale, her dark eyes fixed on the derelict station that had haunted humanity's dreams for the past decade. "Structural analysis complete," announced Dr. Marcus Reed, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. "It's worse than we thought, Commander. The outer hull has been compromised in 17 locations, and the artificial gravity generators are running on emergency power. One strong solar wind could tear this place apart." Sarah nodded, her expression remaining neutral despite the gravity of the situation. The Interstellar Restoration Initiative had spent years preparing for this mission, and she wasn't about to let their first major project end in failure. "What about the core systems?" "Still operational, barely," Marcus replied, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses. "The quantum stabilizers are holding, but only just. We've got maybe 72 hours before total system failure." The Helios 7 station had been one of humanity's greatest achievements, a joint venture between Earth's major space agencies designed to serve as a waypoint for deep space exploration. Its mysterious abandonment 15 years ago had sparked countless theories and investigations, but no one had managed to uncover the truth. Until now, perhaps. "Chief Engineer Torres, prepare the boarding team," Sarah commanded through the ship's comm system. "Dr. Reed, you're with me. Let's see what secrets this ghost has been keeping." Maya Torres' voice crackled back through the speaker. "Already on it, Commander. The drones are prepped and ready for initial structural reinforcement. We can begin docking procedures whenever you give the word." As the Nightingale maneuvered closer to the station, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The station's dark windows stared back at them like empty eye sockets, holding mysteries that had remained untold for far too long. The docking procedure was delicate work. Maya's expertise showed as she guided the restoration drones to secure temporary stabilizing fields around the station's weakest points. Even the slightest miscalculation could send the entire structure spinning off into the void. "Commander," called out their sensor specialist, James Wong, his voice tight with concern. "I'm picking up some unusual energy signatures from the central hub. They don't match any known patterns in our database." Sarah leaned over his console, studying the readings. The energy pulses were erratic but seemed to follow a pattern, like a heartbeat, but mechanical and alien. "Archive these readings. We'll need to investigate once we're aboard." The boarding team assembled in the airlock. Sarah, Marcus, Maya, and their security officer, Lieutenant David Cooper. Each wore the latest in protective spacewear, equipped with advanced sensors and emergency thrust systems. "Remember," Sarah addressed her team, "this isn't just about salvage. Helios 7 was meant to be humanity's gateway to the stars. Whatever caused its abandonment could be crucial to our future in space. Stay alert, stay together, and stay alive." The airlock cycled, and they pushed off toward the station's main entrance. Their helmet lights illuminated the scared surface of the hull, revealing micrometeor impacts and strange, geometrical patterns that didn't appear in any of the station's original blueprints. Maya approached the main airlock control panel, her tools already in hand. "This is interesting," she muttered, more to herself than the others. "The security systems are still active, but they're running on a completely different protocol than what's in our records." It took her several minutes to bypass the security, during which Sarah noticed more of the unusual patterns etched into the station's surface. They seemed to pulse faintly in the light of their helmets, though she couldn't be sure if it was just her imagination. The airlock finally opened with a groan of protesting metal, revealing a dark corridor beyond. The team's lights swept across abandoned equipment, floating debris, and walls covered in frost from multiple emergency decompressions. "Life support is minimal at present," Marcus reported, checking his instruments. "Atmosphere is thin but breathable. Gravity at 15% of Earth normal." They made their way deeper into the station, their boots' magnetic soles keeping them anchored to the floor. Every few meters, they encountered more of the strange patterns, now clearly visible on the internal walls. "These markings," Marcus said, running a scanner over one of them, "they're not damage or decoration. They're conducting energy, like circuit pathways, but using principles I've never seen before." Lieutenant Cooper kept his hand near his weapon, his military training evident in his cautious movements. The station's logs showed a crew of over 200. Where did they all go? And why leave everything behind? The answer began to reveal itself as they reached the central hub. The massive chamber was dominated by what should have been the station's main power core, but the technology they found was like nothing in human engineering. The core had been modified, integrated with something else. Crystalline structures merged with human technology in a way that seemed both beautiful and impossible. At the center, suspended in a field of shifting energy, floated a device that defied description. "My God," Marcus breathed, his scientific detachment cracking. "This isn't just a modification. Someone, or something, completely transformed the station's core. This technology, it's generations beyond anything humanity has achieved." Sarah approached the mysterious device, her sensors recording everything. "This is why they abandoned the station," she realized. "They found something out here, something that changed everything." Before she could elaborate, James' voice cut through their comms. "Commander, we've got a problem. 3 unidentified vessels just dropped out of FTL. They're on an intercept course, and they're not responding to hails." Sarah's mind raced through their options. The station was critically unstable. They had an unknown alien device to deal with, and now possible hostile ships approaching. But underneath the concern, she felt a spark of excitement. This was why humanity ventured into space, to uncover mysteries, to face challenges, to push beyond their limits. "Maya, begin emergency stabilization procedures. Marcus, gather all the data you can about this device. Lieutenant Cooper, prepare defensive positions." She took one last look at the transformed core, its ethereal light reflecting off her visor. "Whatever's coming, we're not leaving. Helios 7 has chosen to reveal its secrets to us, and we're going to make sure those secrets help humanity, not destroy it." The alien device pulsed, as if in response to her words, and for a moment, Sarah could have sworn she felt something, a presence, vast and ancient, stirring from a long slumber. Their real mission, she realized, was just beginning. Time was running out aboard Helios 7. The approaching vessels had reduced speed but maintained their intercept course, their intentions still unknown. Commander Sarah Chen watched their trajectory on a hastily restored monitoring station, while her team worked to stabilize the failing structure around them. "Maya, status report," Sarah called through the comm, her voice steady despite the mounting pressure. Chief Engineer Torres' response came between bursts of static. "We've managed to reinforce the primary support structures, but these alien modifications are fighting us every step of the way. It's like the station has its own immune system." Dr. Marcus Reed hadn't moved from the central core, his instruments scanning the crystalline structures that had merged with the station's original systems. "Commander, you need to see this," he called out, excitement breaking through his usually composed demeanor. "The energy patterns, they're not random. They're forming coherent data streams." Sarah made her way to his position, pushing through the low gravity with practiced ease. The alien device at the center of the chamber pulsed with increasing frequency, casting shadows that seemed to move with a life of their own. "What kind of data?" she asked, watching as complex symbols scrolled across Marcus' handheld display. "It's incredible," he breathed. "Star charts, technical specifications, mathematical concepts I've never seen before. But there's something else." He adjusted his scanner, focusing on a particular energy signature. "These patterns, they match ancient artifacts found on Earth, specifically the geometric designs discovered in the Sahara ruins last year." Lieutenant Cooper's voice cut through their conversation. "Commander, the approaching vessels have taken up position around the station. They're powering up something, but it's not weapons, At least, nothing in our database. Sarah's mind raced through their options. The station's secrets were clearly bigger than anyone had anticipated, potentially connecting to humanity's own mysterious past. But with unknown ships surrounding them and systems failing by the minute, their window of opportunity was closing fast. James, she called to their sensor specialist back on the Nightingale. Any luck identifying those ships? Negative, Commander. Their design doesn't match any known configuration, human or otherwise. But, he hesitated, their hull composition shows traces of the same crystalline technology we're seeing in the station. A sudden surge of energy from the core sent cascading waves of light through the chamber. The alien device's pulsing quickened, and the geometric patterns on the walls began to glow with an inner fire. Marcus, what's happening? Sarah demanded, bracing herself against a console as the station trembled. The device, it's responding to the presence of those ships, he replied, frantically working his instruments. The data stream has changed. It's trying to tell us something. Maya's voice crackled through the comm again. Commander, the station's structural integrity is actually improving. Whatever that thing is doing, it's repairing the damage at a molecular level. This technology, it's like nothing I've ever seen. The crystalline growths throughout the chamber began to shift and expand, forming new patterns and structures before their eyes. Lieutenant Cooper raised his weapon instinctively, but Sarah gestured for him to hold position. Marcus, she said, you mentioned the Sahara ruins. Could this technology be connected to the theories about ancient visitors to Earth? It's possible, he replied, not looking up from his readings. The mathematical principles are similar, but this is far more advanced. It's as if this is what that technology was meant to evolve into. The approaching ships maintained their position, but new energy signatures began emanating from them, creating a complex web of interactions with the station's systems. They're not here to attack, Sarah realized aloud. They're here to test us, to see if we can understand what we found. As if in response to her words, the alien device projected a holographic display into the center of the chamber. It showed a map of the galaxy, but unlike any they had seen before. Certain points were connected by lines of light, forming a vast network that spanned known and unknown space alike. It's a transportation network, Marcus breathed. The ancients, whoever they were, they created a system of connected points throughout the galaxy. And Helios 7, it's one of the nodes. Sarah studied the display, her mind working through the implications. The station wasn't abandoned because of a disaster. The original crew found this technology, realized what it meant. And someone made them leave, Cooper finished grimly. Question is, who and why? The answer began to materialize as new data streamed across their displays. The station's original logs, long thought lost, started playing across multiple screens. They showed the gradual discovery of the alien technology, the excitement of the crew as they began to understand its significance, and then, corporate intervention, Sarah said, her jaw tightening as she read. Global Aerospace Corporation. They tried to seize control of the station when they learned what was here. The crew initiated an emergency protocols and evacuated rather than let this technology fall into the wrong hands. And now GAC ships are probably among those heading this way, Cooper added. They never gave up looking for this place. The alien device pulsed again, stronger this time, and new information began flooding their systems. But it wasn't just technical data. It was a message, translated into simple text. The N-E-to-W-R-K-A ends. Prove yourself is worthy. Sarah exchanged looks with her team. They had come to restore an abandoned station, but instead they had stumbled upon something that could revolutionize humanity's place in the galaxy, if they could protect it from those who would misuse it. Maya, she called, how long until we can get primary systems back online? With the alien tech helping, maybe 2 hours. But Commander, we're going to have company long before that. Sarah nodded, her decision already made. Then we've got 2 hours to make this station operational enough to defend itself. Marcus, keep working on decoding that data. Lieutenant Cooper, set up defensive positions around the core. Whatever's coming, we're not letting this discovery slip away from humanity again. The alien device's pulsing settled into a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat. Through the station's viewports, Sarah could see more ships appearing at the edge of their sensor range. The race was on, not just to restore Helios 7, but to prove humanity worthy of its incredible secrets. The alien device's steady pulse had become the heartbeat of Helios 7, synchronizing with the station's restored systems in ways that defied conventional physics. Commander Sarah Chen watched as crystalline structures continued to grow and reshape themselves throughout the central chamber, transforming the once decrepit station into something extraordinary. Multiple ships on approach, James reported from the Nightingale. I'm reading at least 5 Global Aerospace Corporation vessels, heavily armed. They're not bothering to hide their credentials anymore. Maya's voice joined the channel, tinged with excitement despite the looming threat. Commander, you won't believe this. The alien technology isn't just repairing the station, it's improving it. Every system it touches becomes more efficient, more powerful. It's like it's teaching our technology how to evolve. Sarah moved to one of the newly formed crystal consoles, watching as alien symbols flowed across its surface before resolving into readable text. The translation was becoming smoother, faster, as if the station was learning to communicate with them. Marcus, what have you learned about the network? She asked, her eyes tracking the movement of the approaching ships on the holographic display. The scientist looked up from his work, his face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the alien technology. It's incredible, Commander. The network isn't just for transportation. It's a repository of knowledge from dozens, maybe hundreds of civilizations. The ancients built it as a test, a way to identify species ready to join a larger galactic community. And now it's active again. Lieutenant Cooper added, his tactical mind already processing the implications, which means we're not the only ones being tested. Those other ships out there, they're not just GAC, Sarah finished. Some of them are like us, explorers who detected the station's reactivation. We're all here for the same trial. The station shuddered as the first wave of ships took up attack positions. The GAC vessels' intentions were clear. They meant to take the station by force, regardless of its greater purpose. Incoming transmission, James announced. It's from the GAC flagship. A harsh voice filled their comms. This is Director Harrison of Global Aerospace Corporation. We are exercising our legal claim to Helios 7 and all technologies contained therein. Surrender the station immediately or face the consequences. Sarah's response was cut short by a sudden surge of energy from the alien device. The holographic display expanded, showing not just their local space, but a vast network of similar stations throughout the galaxy. Many were dormant, but others pulsed with the same energy as Helios 7. They're all awakening, Marcus breathed. This isn't just about us anymore. It's happening everywhere. The station's systems began moving faster, more purposefully. New rooms and corridors formed as the crystalline technology reshaped the structure, strengthening it against any attack. But Sarah noticed something else. The changes weren't random. They were creating something specific, something the station thought they would need. Maya, get to the new chamber forming near the auxiliary power core, Sarah ordered. Take Marcus with you. Something's being built in there, and we need to know what it is. As her team moved through the transforming station, Sarah addressed the GAC ships. Director Harrison, you're interfering with something far bigger than corporate interests. This station is part of an ancient network meant to test humanity's readiness for galactic civilization. Your actions here could condemn our entire species. A convenient story, Harrison replied coldly. But we've waited 15 years to reclaim this technology. We won't let it slip away again. Prepare to be boarded. The first shots came from the GAC vessels, energy weapons designed to disable the station's outer defenses. But the crystalline structures absorbed the attacks, using the energy to grow stronger, to build faster. "Commander," Maya's voice was filled with awe. "The new chamber, it's some kind of control center. The station, it's not just defending itself. It's asking for permission to show us something." Sarah made her way to their position, moving through corridors that seemed to anticipate her path, reshaping themselves to speed her journey. When she reached the new chamber, she found her team standing before a massive crystalline interface, its surface alive with swirling patterns of light. "It's a key," Marcus explained, his hands moving over the controls with increasing confidence. "The station isn't just testing us. It's offering to teach us. But we have to choose to learn, to prove we value knowledge over power." The GAC ships launched another barrage, but this time the station's response was different. Instead of just absorbing the attack, it redirected the energy, creating shields of pure light that encompassed not just Helios 7, but the other exploratory vessels that had chosen to hold back, to observe rather than attack. "They're targeting the power core," Cooper reported, "trying to force their way in before we can unlock whatever the station's offering." Sarah studied the crystalline interface, watching as it presented images of other worlds, other species facing similar moments of choice. Some chose violence and were denied. Others chose wisdom and were transformed. The message was clear. This was humanity's moment of truth. "All stations," she broadcast on an open channel. "This is Commander Chen. What we do here will determine humanity's path for generations to come. We can fight each other for control of this technology, or we can prove ourselves worthy of its gifts. The choice is yours." The alien device's pulse quickened as Sarah placed her hand on the crystal interface. The station had made its own choice. It had chosen them as its champions. Now they had to prove that choice right, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. As if in response to her touch, new data began streaming through the station's systems. The true history of the network, the civilizations that had built it, and the threats they had faced that made such testing necessary. The GAC ships pressed their attack, but Sarah knew the real battle wasn't against them. It was against humanity's own nature, their tendency to reach for power before understanding its cost. "Maya, Marcus," she ordered, "start integrating this data into our systems. Cooper, coordinate with the other exploration vessels. If we're going to prove ourselves worthy, we need to show we can work together, even under fire." The station trembled under another assault, but its defenses held firm. Through the viewports, Sarah could see more ships arriving. Not just corporate vessels, but ships from other nations, other organizations. Word was spreading. Humanity's trial had begun, and Helios 7 was just the first test. The space around Helios 7 had become a battlefield, but not the kind humanity was used to fighting. While GAC ships continued their relentless assault, the station's crystalline defenses held firm, transforming each attack into pure energy that fueled its ongoing evolution. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the new control interface, watching as more vessels arrived from Earth's various space agencies. "Commander," Marcus called out, his fingers dancing across the crystalline controls, "I've decoded more of the station's database. The network, it's not just about testing species. It's about preparing them." "Preparing us for what?" Sarah asked, though part of her already knew the answer. Before Marcus could respond, the entire station shuddered. Lieutenant Cooper's voice cut through their comms. Multiple impacts. GACs brought in reinforcements, heavy capital ships. They're using some kind of resonance weapons designed to disrupt the crystal structure. Through the viewport, Sarah watched as massive GAC warships moved into position, their specialized weapons sending waves of destructive energy through space. The station's defenses flickered, the crystalline structures vibrating under the assault. They'd been planning this for 15 years, Maya observed grimly, working to stabilize the station's systems. They must have developed these weapons based on their initial research here. The alien device at the station's heart pulsed erratically, its rhythm disrupted by the attacks. But instead of weakening, it began to change, adapting to the assault. New patterns of light flowed through the crystalline network, forming complex geometries that seemed to bend space itself. The station, Marcus breathed, staring at his readings. It's not just defending itself anymore. It's offering us a choice. We can either retreat, seal off this node of the network, and wait for another species to prove worthy, or we can complete the trial. Right now. Sarah studied the stream of data flowing across the crystal interface. The images showed countless civilizations facing similar moments, some choosing to fight, others to hide, and a precious few who grasped the true purpose of the test. The other exploration vessels, she said suddenly, open a channel to all non-GAC ships in range. James's voice came through from the Nightingale. Channel open, Commander. This is Commander Chen. We all came here seeking answers, but what we found is something far more important. A chance to prove that humanity can rise above its divisions. The station isn't just testing our technology or our power. It's testing our wisdom, our ability to cooperate in the face of crisis. The resonance weapons continued their assault, but now other ships began moving into defensive positions around Helios 7. Not just individual vessels, but entire flotillas from different nations and organizations, choosing to protect rather than exploit. Look, Maya pointed to the holographic display. Similar scenes were playing out at other awakened stations across the galaxy. Different species, different civilizations, all facing the same crucial test. The alien device's pulse steadied, growing stronger. The crystalline structures throughout the station began to move with new purpose, not just defending but reaching out, connecting with the ships that had chosen to help. Marcus, Sarah ordered, begin sharing the station's data with all allied vessels. Maya, help them integrate it into their systems. If we're going to prove ourselves worthy, we do it together. The GAC warships pressed their attack, but now they faced a unified defense. Ships from a dozen nations moved in concert, their systems enhanced by the station's crystalline technology. It wasn't just about protecting Helios 7 anymore. It was about showing that humanity could overcome its destructive impulses. Director Harrison's voice crackled through their comms again. You're making a mistake, Chen. This technology could make humanity invincible. We could rule the galaxy. That's exactly why you'll never understand its true purpose, Sarah replied. The network wasn't built to create rulers. It was built to create guardians. As if responding to her words, the alien device unleashed a wave of energy, unlike anything they'd seen before. It swept through the defending ships, enhancing their systems, showing them glimpses of what humanity could become if they chose the right path. The GAC warships' resonance weapons began to falter as the crystalline technology adapted, evolved, transformed itself into something that existed in harmony with human engineering rather than trying to dominate it. The station wasn't just teaching them, it was learning from them, showing that true advancement came from cooperation, not conquest. Commander, Marcus called out, his voice filled with wonder. The network is accepting our input. We're not just using the technology anymore. We're helping to shape it, improve it. The test isn't about finding perfect beings. It's about finding species willing to learn and grow. Sarah watched as new patterns of light spread throughout the station, creating interfaces that merged human intuition with alien efficiency. The defending ships began moving as one, their crews learning to work with the crystal technology in real time, proving through action, rather than words, that humanity could adapt, could evolve, could choose a better path. GAC ships are pulling back, Cooper reported. Their weapons aren't effective against the combined defense network. But Sarah knew this wasn't the end. They had passed the first part of the trial, showing they could unite in the face of crisis. But the harder test lay ahead, proving they could use this gift wisely, not just in moments of crisis, but in all the moments that would follow. The alien device's pulse had become a song, resonating through the station and the defending ships alike. It wasn't just a sound. It was a promise, A glimpse of what humanity could become if they continued down this path. "Send word to Earth," Sarah ordered. "Tell them what we've found, what we've learned, and tell them what comes next, because this isn't just about one station anymore. It's about our future among the stars." 3 days had passed since the battle for Helios 7, and the station had transformed beyond recognition. The once derelict structure now pulsed with crystalline light, its renewed systems working in perfect harmony with human technology. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the central chamber, watching as teams from a dozen nations worked together to understand their inheritance. "Final integration testing is complete," Maya announced, her voice filled with quiet pride. "The crystal tech has stabilized across all systems. It's like the station was waiting for this moment, waiting for us to prove ourselves ready." The alien device that had started it all now floated in a new configuration, its energy flowing freely through the station's enhanced systems. Around Helios 7, ships from Earth's various space agencies held position, their own systems gradually adapting to work with the crystal technology. Marcus approached, his tablet displaying streams of data from the station's vast database. "We've only scratched the surface of what's in here, Commander. The network contains the combined knowledge of dozens of civilizations, each adding their own discoveries before moving on to become guardians. And now it's our turn," Sarah said, studying the holographic display showing similar transformations occurring at other stations across the galaxy. "Have we heard anything from the GAC fleet?" Lieutenant Cooper looked up from his security station. They had withdrawn to the outer system. "Word from Earth is that the corporate board is in chaos. Seems their shareholders aren't happy about them attacking the unified human defense force." The mention of unity brought a slight smile to Sarah's face. The crisis had forced humanity to overcome its divisions in ways years of diplomacy have failed to achieve. Representatives from every major spacefaring nation were now aboard Helios 7, working together to understand their new role. "Commander," James called from his post at the sensor array, "we're detecting unusual activity from the network. Something's happening." The alien device's pulse quickened, and new data began streaming through the station's systems. The holographic display expanded, showing not just the current network of stations, but something far more vast, a map of Guardian outposts extending into unexplored space. "It's showing us the others," Marcus explained, his eyes wide with wonder. "All the civilizations that passed the trial before us. They're out there, watching, waiting to welcome us." As if in response to his words, a new signal began broadcasting through the station's enhanced communications array. It wasn't just data this time. It was a message, translated through the crystal technology. "The trial is complete. The Guardians acknowledge humanity's potential. Preparation for integration begins." Sarah watched as new chambers and corridors formed throughout the station, each designed to help humanity take its next steps. The crystal technology wasn't just giving them tools, it was teaching them how to grow beyond their current limitations. "Maya," she called, "what's the status of the other stations in Earth's sector?" "All coming online, Commander. The network is establishing stable connections. We're seeing similar transformations at each location." Maya paused, checking her readings. "There's something else. The crystal tech. It's not just upgrading our existing systems. It's showing us how to build something new." The holographic display shifted to show blueprints unlike anything they'd seen before. Ships that could traverse vast distances in moments, energy systems that could power entire planets, and defensive technologies that could protect Earth from any natural or artificial threat. This was never about just one station, Sarah realized. It was about preparing us for what's out there, the good and the bad. Cooper approached, his tactical mindset already processing the implications. The GAC ships might have been wrong about how to get this technology, but they weren't wrong about one thing. There are threats out there we need to be ready for. But we'll face them the right way, Sarah replied. Not as conquerors, but as guardians. Not alone, but united. The station hummed with energy as more ships arrived from Earth, bringing scientists, engineers, and diplomats eager to learn from their newfound inheritance. The crystal technology continued to evolve, adapting to human insight and creativity in ways that suggested this merger of technologies was exactly what its creators had hoped for. Message from Earth Command, James announced. They're requesting a full briefing on our status, and they're declaring Helios 7 the first site of the new United Earth Space Initiative. Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. They had not only restored Helios 7, but had restored humanity's hope for a greater future among the stars. The station had given them a chance to prove themselves worthy of joining something greater than their individual ambitions. Send word to Earth, she ordered. Tell them Helios 7 is ready to begin its new mission. And tell them to prepare for visitors. I have a feeling we'll be receiving formal introductions from our fellow Guardians soon. The alien device's pulse had settled into a steady rhythm, now perfectly synchronized with the station's heartbeat. Through the viewports, Sarah could see ships beginning construction on new facilities around Helios 7, expanding humanity's presence in space with purpose and wisdom rather than unchecked ambition. Marcus approached one last time, his expression thoughtful. You know, Commander, when we first found this station, we thought we were restoring a relic of humanity's past. Instead, we were building the foundation of its future. Sarah smiled, watching as the crystal technology continued its work, preparing humanity for its new role among the stars. We didn't just restore a station, Marcus. We restored hope. Now let's see where it takes us. The lights of Helios 7 shone brighter than ever, a beacon calling humanity toward its destiny among the stars, not as conquerors or subjects, but as guardians ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in the vast unknown.